Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth for a update on HEXO. They just released the share consolidation confirmation. So I wanted to do a quick video and relay the information on to you wonderful folks. And before we jump into today's content, make sure to hit the like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it very much. So stick around and we'll jump into it here in just a second. All right, so diving right into the chart and the news at hand. So HEXO announces the share consolidation. So this wasn't anything that was taken by surprise. We all knew it was coming. So they announced that the share consolidation of 4-to-1 at its annual special meeting of shareholders on December 11th, and it was approved. The notice of consolidation has been approved by the Toronto Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange. The shares will continue to be listed on the TSX and the New York Stock Exchange under symbol HEXO, and the shares are expected to begin trading at post-consolidation basis on the TSX and NYSE on or about December 23rd. So we can look for it next week. That's Wednesday, I believe. Yes, it is, which is the last trading day, I believe, before the holidays. So we'll see if it starts trading on the post-consolidation basis on Wednesday morning. If it does, then we'll probably get one solid full day of trading in, but share price closed around $1.05. It's down about 4 cents here after hours. Again, we'll bring up the chart in just a second, but if we multiply that by 4, essentially you'll have 4 shares less on, divided by 4, you'll have 4 shares less on December 23rd, if that is in fact the date that they roll with. So going to increase the price by 4, but decrease your shares by 4. So we'll be looking around $4, and it'll no longer be a penny stock. I mean, technically, a penny stock can be considered anything under $5, but it'll be closer to not being a penny stock than a penny stock. So as a result of consolidation, 488 million shares issued and outstanding prior to the consolidation have reduced to approximately 122 million shares. So the float will be significantly lower. And personally, I'm not really sure why it's selling off into after hours. We already knew that this, I guess it's up to 102 here after hours, but so only down about 3 cents. As long as we hold the dollar and the 95-cent support that we had, I think it's fine. But again, we all knew this was coming, and I don't think it's a real reason to potentially sell or get panicked or, just sell, hit the panic button, because this is something we've known about months in advance. And personally, I think it's positive for the stock. And once we get this out of the way, I think there's nothing but good things that are going to be coming out in the near future, especially if we see them achieve profitability in the first half of 2021, like they're forecasting. So we also saw Canadian cannabis sales increase 109% in October to 270 million. StatsCan released October retail sales for the country this morning, and 109.4% annual growth. Sales of 270 million grew 5.1% from September. So Hi-Fi IQ forecast sales of 265 million based upon its data, so it beat that. Data analytics provider has been estimating November growth of about 7% below its October forecast, which would be 9% lower than the actual October sales. So found that interesting, and you can see that we're trending up in Canada, so a lot of positive momentum in the Canadian cannabis industry. We also see pot sector M&A ramping up with the Aphria-Tilray merger. So we'll see Bloomberg is calling this out, saying that they're expecting a lot more M&A activity to ramp up in wake of this. So it's game on in the Canadian cannabis industry. I've already covered this in one of my videos, but wanted to re-highlight the fact that we could potentially see more cannabis companies. And they quoted a cannabis CEO here. The phone is ringing off the hook, said one cannabis producer CEO who declined to be named because discussions with bankers are still preliminary. So could that be potentially HEXO? Personally, I don't think so. It could be HEXO. It could be Aurora. It could be Kronos. There's a lot of different companies that it could be. It could be Pure Sun Village Farms. It could be a number of different companies. But personally, I don't think HEXO, because listening to Sebastian St. Louis, the CEO, speak. He's very adamant that they don't want to merge with other companies, but things have changed. The landscape has kind of changed. And like you said, like they say, it's game on in the Canadian cannabis industry. So that may entice other LPs to do the same, even though they may have not considered doing so before. So just be on the lookout. If we do see a merger of, or maybe a bigger investment from Molson Coors, that could be huge for HEXO as well. So again, we'll continue to check back in on that and just be on the lookout for any possible news that could come out based on that article. And I do want to bring up the TAP chart here as well, the Molson Coors Beverage Company. So one thing I noticed interesting about this is we were in a weekly downtrend, and ever since the trust numbers came out and HEXO's reversal, we were in a weekly downtrend, and now we're in a weekly uptrend. So I'm not 100% convinced that that's why. And I don't believe that HEXO is saving Molson Coors business by any chance or any stretch of the imagination, but we are consolidating on the weekly here, and we are in a weekly uptrend and starting to potentially see some correlation here. If we bring up the HEXO chart on the weekly, bring up on the NYSE here, so you can see we're in a weekly uptrend and we were in a weekly downtrend, and we sort of bottomed around the same time. So we'll see, we have the weekly EMA bear cross here as well on HEXO with, or sorry, bull cross with EMA 12 crossing through 26. You can see EMA 12 closed at 87 and EMA 26 at 86 at the end of this week. So that implies usually a significant move. If we look at CGC as a benchmark and a comparison, you can see here back on October 19th, we had that bull cross here on the weekly, and we shot up about 60%. So we'll see if we can get any follow through next week. Personally, I think it's going to be an interesting week next week. Can't wait for these shares to be consolidated in a 4-to-1. And if you are wondering why, you know, it's up 400% on Wednesday morning, if that's the date that it starts to trade, just be aware that, you know, I'm letting you know now so that you're not taken by surprise on Wednesday. So if you see 400% gains in your portfolio, it's just a reverse split. Don't get too excited. Even though that would be awesome if it was up 800% and you actually had another 400%. So we'll see. But like I said, super excited that we're getting it out of the way. And we're in a monthly uptrend on HEXO as well, which is the first time since all-time highs. And weekly uptrend, we're looking to get back up to recent highs. We're looking to potentially form a basis support here off EMA 12, which is sitting at 103. We also have EMA 26 at 96 cents and support at 95 cents on the daily. So a lot of support in that level. And we're just looking for a daily high or low. We did break down here from the recent move from $1.33, bottomed out around 95 cents with a double bottom, essentially a triple bottom. And we had that daily inside bar bull break, and that was the go signal. But now we're just looking for a daily high or low compared to 95 cents. But we need to change the hourly trend to be confident that that new daily high or low is set. But we did top out at EMA 26 on the hourly here today. So that was notable. But again, just looking to form a daily high or low. And if we do open up below $1 on Monday, then we'll target the support around 95 and 96. So that's where we stand. We do have the next quarter earnings anticipating very, very strong earnings next quarter, which will be in March. And that will be for period ending, I think it's January. So I think a lot of positive momentum and news should be coming out, should be forthcoming in the next couple of quarters. And once we get this reverse split out of the way, I think it's going to be essentially smooth sailing and just, you know, water under the bridge after we get this overhang of this reverse split that just keeps driving the stock down for some strange reason, even though we've already known about it well in advance. I think the money makers and market makers are just doing a great job keeping it down. So HEXO Corp on the weekly, we're above the 10-week moving average. So we closed above the 85 cent level. The MACD and stochastic are still very bullish. So we have 3 green check marks there on the longer term weekly time frame. Taking a look at the weekly moving averages, we're still above the 50 weekly moving average, down at 84 cents. MACD again, still bullish. On the daily, the MACD did cross bearish. So we'll see if we can reverse that into next week. We did have the golden cross and the 100 also crossing through the 200-day moving average. So we're in a bit of a daily EQ at this point with the low, high, higher, low, lower, high, getting tight. So most important support 95, most important resistance is going to be up here at $1.13. And then after that, $1.33. But if we get any positive news after the share consolidation, I think this stock is just absolutely ripe for a monster move. There's been a lot of selling pressure, a lot of overhang from the reverse split, but I'm seeing article after article after article, day after day after day about HEXO. And if we just go here to Google, we'll take a look. 4 bullish numbers for HEXO's Q1 results. HEXO CEO on earnings in the cannabis industry. They announced a share consolidation, better stock to buy, HEXO or Trulieve. Now they're comparing HEXO to the #1 cannabis stock worldwide and in the US. That's some pretty high company to be in. So some of these articles are bearish, but they've been turning bullish. And to me, to be posting an article, whether it be bearish or bullish every single day, sometimes twice a day, this reminds me a lot of what happened to Tesla before they turned a profit. About a year ago, their stock was around $200. Every analyst was saying it was going to zero. They're not making any money. And then the next thing you know, they have a surprise beat. And into January, their stock rockets to the moon. And now we've gone about 15x on Tesla. Obviously, I don't think HEXO is going to be joining the S&P 500 like anytime soon, like Tesla next week. But I think that we could be potentially seeing a similar story here. If HEXO hits profitability in the first half of 2021, like the company is projecting, then we could see the stock absolutely explode and never look back. So potentially we dip into next week. My thoughts for the stock next week, I think we could dip. Just the market makers taking advantage of weak hands, shaking everybody out next week. Maybe we get a short dip. If SPY, the S&P 500, and QQQ, the tech sector, consolidate, that could, create some more selling pressure in HEXO. So we could potentially test 95 support. Don't be surprised if we do. If we do lose $1 support in regular trading hours next week, then I would be a little concerned. And if we lose 95 cents, that'd be very, very concerning. But again, I don't see it happening that they're going to completely tank this unless SPY drops 10 or 20%. I don't think that HEXO is going to fall off a cliff and drop 30-40% from this point out. There's just too much positive momentum and indicators to be looking at. It's one of the bullish charts that I've seen in a very, very long time. So love the company, love the fundamentals, love the technicals, and very, very excited for next week. So thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, guys. We'll see you on the next update Monday for a daily market recap. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend. I cut myself in the kitchen yesterday. My thumb's pretty sore, basically cut from one side of my thumb to the other and having a hard time navigating and maneuvering the mouse, but got through it today. Gave you guys a couple more videos today. And I know a lot of people were asking about HEXO, so I wanted to make sure that you guys had the most up-to-date information. And again, have a great weekend. Thanks again for joining me on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you next week.